In 2001, which was 23 years ago, I won this trophy. I won first place in the men's short division in the natural bodybuilding competition. I am a lifetime drug-free natural bodybuilder. Back in the day when I was bodybuilding, there wasn't the internet the way that it was, right? This was back in 2001. We didn't have all the research in terms of exercises, nutrition, and the science behind muscle building like we do now. Back in the day, it was a lot of bro science, right? You would hear something from a dude that was big or jacked or on the sauce, and you basically would try it for yourself. And unfortunately, I made a lot of mistakes, and a lot of you guys are making some of the same mistakes I made. Today, I'm going over some of the biggest muscle building mistakes that I personally regret making, and some of you are still making. Number one is taking advice from the wrong person. And what I mean by wrong person is somebody that isn't playing the same game that you are. And what I mean by this is they are enhanced. All right, now, here's the truth. One of the mistakes that I made growing up is that I would look at somebody and I would judge their knowledge of fitness based on what they look like. If they look good, then they should probably know what they're talking about and it'll work for me, right? When the reality is that just because somebody looks good with their shirt off doesn't mean they actually know what they're talking about. I often say you need to find your fitness Yoda. All right, you need to find somebody that is on the same page and playing the same game as you. If you are 100 pounds overweight and you're trying to get abs, don't go to some 18-year-old dude who's never been over 5% body fat to get advice. Number two is don't compare yourself like I did to other people. All right, now, I was a bodybuilder, right? And so what did I do? I always was comparing myself to other people. Am I bigger than them? Am I leaner than them? Are my calves worse than them, right? I would compare myself. When the truth is that this is an exercise in futility. The only person you need to be judging yourself against is you yesterday. Making sure that you are monitoring your progress and measuring it on a consistent basis is one of the best things you can do to figure out what's going on with you. Are you progressing? Are you gaining muscle? Or are you gaining fat? All right, one of the things I want you to do, check your body fat percentage, right? Here's the deal. Your body fat percentage is going to tell you how much body fat you have on you, all right? And then you basically just subtract it and figure out how much muscle you have. And so if you get into the habit of checking your body fat on a regular basis, you're going to know exactly what is happening. Is your body fat going down? Is it going up? Are you gaining muscle or are you losing it? Dirty bulking. Don't do it, all right? One of the big mistakes that a lot of people make is they think, okay, muscle building is all about excess calories, right? Well, it's true in part, but you got to make sure you're getting those calories from like protein and things of that nature, good carbohydrates, good fats. But when you just dirty bulk, meaning stuff your face with crap food, your weight is going to grow up, right? Your body fat is going to go up. And all this bulk that you put on is really hard to get off when you're ready to get shredded. The other reality is that you're not as muscular as you think you are. And I'm not saying that to like diss you. I'm saying that like for me. It was always very alarming when I would actually diet down for a bodybuilding show to see what my weight actually was. And I thought, you know, okay, I'm 180 pounds. I'm going to be like 160 on stage. And then I started dieting. I'm like, oh, there's 160. Well, there's 155. There's 150. Oh my God, there's 148. Like I would keep losing weight. I wasn't losing muscle. I was losing fat because I wasn't as big as I thought I was. Don't dirty bulk. But on the flip side, trying to stay too lean year round is also one of the things that's going to cause you to not gain muscle. All right. In order to gain muscle, you need to be at a caloric excess, right? You can't be burning more than you're consuming. All right, it's a matter of fact, right? Because a pound of muscle, you're going to need to consume about 3,500 extra calories, right? That's how many calories is in 1 pound of muscle. And so to gain 1 pound of muscle, you need to be at a caloric excess of about 500 calories per day in order to gain 1 pound of muscle per week. But you also need to be combining that with the proper workout and training, which I'm going to talk about after we discuss diet. The next mistake we got to talk about is protein, right? In terms of lack of protein, not eating enough, or thinking that you just need to eat like boring, basic, plain, bland chicken, which is something that I used to do when I was bodybuilding, right? Nothing takes the fun out of eating like eating dry, boring chicken. It is disgusting. And so one of the things that I've learned over my years, and as I've aged and learned a lot more about food and macronutrients, is that it's really just about eating high quality protein, all right? Whether or not you're getting it from something like salmon or fish or bison, right? Or chicken that is actually seasoned, whether or not it's breast or thighs or even drumsticks, right? pork, like there's so many amazing lean, healthy protein sources out there. Timing also matters when it comes to the type of protein that you're consuming, all right? So what I mean by this is after a workout, right, your body is like ready, right? You've broken down the muscle tissue. And so instead of coming home and gnawing on a chicken breast, what I feel is the best is actually a high quality protein shake, right? Protein is one of those things, protein powders, that I've been using now for years. I used to own a nutrition store. And so over the years, I've learned a lot about protein. I've also learned a lot about the meat and the food that we're consuming. And as a result of that, I feel like it has never been more important to actually improve the quality of the meats that you eat, right? Even if it's a little bit more expensive. For me, I choose to go more organic because I've been learning a lot about the different hormones that they're putting into all these animals that we're consuming, and it is not good, all right? Now, that brings me to protein powders, right? I also have started to learn and do a lot more research about what I am consuming in terms of the protein, all right? And unfortunately, once again, all proteins were not created equal. The protein that I recently found and have been loving is the Orgain organic protein. I've been taking this now for a little over a month and I absolutely love it. All right, guys, I'm gonna link to them down below. They are today's video sponsor. And if you go through my special link, you can literally get up to like 40% off. It is for a limited time. But the bottom line is this. I started doing my research about the different protein powders. And the thing that I love so much about Orgain protein is that it's organic, it's vegan friendly, it also doesn't contain soy, which is another big issue. The reason why I love this protein so much is it is clean, it is amazing in terms of the ingredients, all right? It's got 21 grams of protein per 2 scoops. It also has 6 grams of prebiotics plus fiber, all right? The other thing that I love, check it out, right? Where does the protein come from? It comes from pea protein. It comes from organic brown rice, organic chia seeds, not to mention organic cocoa, right? Guys, I'm telling you, this is a better mousetrap in terms of protein. Now, when I first heard about it, I'm like, let me try it, because I've had other like vegetarian or organic like proteins that have been like a little bit like not great. I've also had regular whey proteins that have absolutely sucked. And so for me, taste is a big thing, not to mention absorbability. And so when I got the Orgain, you know, first thing, I did the test, right? In plain water, I got about 8 ounces of water and then a single scoop of the Orgain protein. And look, you can already see that it's starting to dissolve, because that's one of the other things. Guys, this protein dissolves literally like instantly. And the taste, amazing, literally. The chocolate tastes like chocolate milk. It is insane. And that was just 1 scoop, right? A full serving is 2 scoops, 160 calories. The macros there are incredible. The other thing I love is that it has fiber. Orgain was started by a physician, Andrew Abraham, all right? And the reason why he started this was because of his own journey actually battling cancer. He overcame it at a young age, and he became obsessed with the quality of the foods that we actually consume. And so he decided, you know what? I don't want to have to sacrifice taste for quality. And protein is one of those things that every single dude should be taking, especially if you're working out. For me, I take it twice a day. In the morning, this is my shake. And then after I work out, my body is ready. It is ready to absorb the protein. It is ready. It is like a sponge to absorb your protein. But instead of eating like a chicken breast that your body has to digest and process and break down, right? Protein powder, it is a much more readily available form of protein that basically your body can take it and boom, shuttle it to those damaged muscles to make them bigger, stronger, and sexier. Gentlemen, hit the link down below. Like I said, right now for a limited time, if you go through my special Orgain link, you're gonna get up to 40% off of Orgain protein powder. Protein. You need to eat protein in order to build muscle, but you also need good carbohydrates, all right? And this is another mistake that I made, right? I would try to go like all protein or, you know, very like low carbohydrate. And for me, it didn't work, right? Because when I didn't have the glycogen that I get from eating complex carbohydrates like oatmeal or sweet potatoes, right? It wouldn't allow my muscles to like fill up. I wouldn't get like the pump that I was used to getting, and I like getting the pump and being big and full. All right, one of the other things that I learned is that when I dieted down for a bodybuilding competition, when I was really trying to get that fat off, my muscles would get like super flat. I would look like super skinny. But as soon as I'd carb up, my muscles would explode and I'd feel incredible and look great. Well, the truth is you need carbohydrates all the time. You also need fats, the healthy fats, omega-3, omega-6, omega-9. Working out too much, all right? I would go in there and I would do literally like 50 sets for chest, 50 sets for buys. Like I was working out way too much. It's not about just beating up your muscle as hard and as bad as you can and then basing your success on soreness level, which is something else that I did and another mistake a lot of us make. We think that if we're not sore, it wasn't a good workout, or if we're not sore, it was a waste of time. Gentlemen, that is absolutely not the truth, all right? Your lactic threshold will adjust and modify based on what you're doing, but something else that you need to do is progressive overload. Progressive overload is systematically increasing the weight, increasing the load, increasing the muscle breakdown, basically, because that's what you're actually doing during the workout, right? If it takes 12 sets, it takes 12 sets. If it takes 15, it's 15. If it's 5, it's 5. You just need to make sure that you have a program that is focused on progressive overload. You also need to make sure you're not changing things up way too much, like I did. So I was the king of, you got to keep your muscles guessing, right? You got to always be changing up in every workout. It's got to be different. Here's the deal, gentlemen. That isn't true. I've come to realize that that doesn't really matter, right? Now, is it good to change things up once in a while? Sure. But every workout, going in and trying to like change it up and doing all sorts of different crazy nuts exercises you see online, it is not effective. One of the reasons why it's not very effective is that you never really know how you're progressing. One of the tells that you are growing and getting stronger is getting stronger, being able to do more reps, being able to do heavier sets. This is an indicator of you progressing and building mass. Neglecting the big 3 lifts is something that I did because they were hard. And that's kind of the point of them. And I regret so much not doing and focusing on squats, bench press, and deadlifts, right? I was a bodybuilder, so I'm like, oh, lots of leg extensions. Oh, I can do walking lunges. I can do hamstring curls, calf raises, right? Or like for chest, like dumbbell flies and pec, like that's all fine. But focusing on the big 3 fundamental lifts, squats, deadlifts, and bench press, are going to build overall size and strength. And the other upside to doing the heavy lifts is that it's going to recruit your body to actually produce more testosterone, because that's actually what happens, right? When you challenge your body rewards you by releasing more testosterone. And so the squats, the deadlifts, the bench press, these exercises are amazing for recruiting more testosterone to be produced by your body and released. All right. The other thing that you need to focus on, though, is mobility. And this is something that I neglected. I wasn't focused on stretching. I also wasn't focused on basically making sure that my mobility and range of motion was as good as it should be. And this is also something that's not only important for putting on muscle, it's important for longevity and being healthy. Cardio. A lot of people think, oh, if I do cardio, it's going to ruin my gains. I thought that. All my muscle that I worked so hard for is just going to poof, evaporate like a snowflake, right? No, it doesn't happen that way. But what I will say is this. If you're looking to maximize your muscle gaining, don't do cardio before weights, all right? When you go into the gym, weights first, cardio second before you leave. And the cardio you should be doing isn't super crazy intense, all right? When you do cardio first thing, you're actually robbing your body of some of the glucose, some of the glycogen that it's going to need. You're going to be using some of that stored energy in your muscles for the energy to keep you going on that cardio, as opposed to what you need it for, which is to be strong, right? If you want to be as strong when you're working out and lift heavier and break those muscle tissue and fibers down, you got to make sure that you give your body what it needs in order to do that, which is glucose, glycogen, and calories. But that being said, after you work out, that is a great time to dip into those fat stores to stay lean while still simultaneously basically building muscle. One of the big misconceptions is that all the stars and the planets and the muscle building universe needs to be in line for you to build muscle. It's not the case. All right, you need to do consistently what you need to do in order to eat right. You need to work out. You need to give yourself rest, which brings me to the final point. All right, you need to rest. If you're not getting enough sleep, which is something that I didn't do, your body isn't going to have the time in order to do what it needs to do, which is rest, heal, and recover. Sleep is a critical component to not only looking good, but also making sure that your body heals and is able to build that sexy lean muscle. And the last thing, the very last thing you need to do is be consistent. The reason why at 48 years old, I still look good, I still have nice muscle tone, and I'm relatively lean is because I have consistently done the things that I needed to do in order to get there and then stay there. Gentlemen, consistency, that in and of itself should be tip number one.